Hello, everyone, and welcome to WEEZCAST. I'm your host, Aiden Morton, with co-host
Caleb Chassis
and co-host
Stephen Prindler
and special guest
Nathan Prindler.
Today, we have just listened to Weezer's second of their four-part season series, Summer, and we're gonna jump right in with Lawn Chair. I think I would like to start this one off. This one's probably going to take the most time to discuss. There's a couple different theories as to what the song means. One of them is absolutely terrible and sacrilegious and is the more likely one. The other one, which I prefer to believe that it is I don't know. Like I've heard convincing arguments for both sides because I was curious. So first off, musically, it's very, very odd how it starts with the violin and is like...
It's probably a waltz.
Yeah, it almost does sound like something like that. But it's just really, really weird, and the way that he's singing is weird, and it's a really odd song. And then it goes, whenever the electric guitar comes in and it turns into almost like a ballad, it's like, it's very odd. It's very odd. Actually, I think we'll bounce around a little bit more, and actually I want to hear other people's thoughts first. So I think actually I want to give it to Stephen first. We'll go Stephen, Nathan, Caleb.
Well, listening to the song, I decided to write my own lyrics to it.
All right.
You're right, this is going to take the longest. Because I was listening to it and I was just kind of writing along as he was singing. I wrote, "Cool kicking back in your long chair. You wrote a song of blasphemous garbage. Too many stupid lyrics, too many wicked words, not enough repentance. Go ahead and mock the one who created and sustains you like you're some big shot. Not satisfied with God's goodness and blessing, you try to justify your own sin by accusing God." Honestly, the song is awful in every way and taints the entire album.
Nathan?
Concise. Well, I gotta say, Aiden's description, actually, to me, that summarized the entire album in a way. I'm not as articulate in all the musical expressions, and I understand where it seems all kind of blend together, especially when you're trying to take notes for each song. So I need to look up the lyrics to each one to just kind of remember which is which. But may I just say, to start, this being my first appearance, being an avid listener, coming in a long line of prestigious guests, I gotta say, this just may be the most humiliating moment of my life. I gotta say, we listened to this album, and I now have a twitch, I have an eye quivering, and if I have a seizure, I'm going to sue Aiden back to the Stone Age. I want everyone to know that. So, I'm thrilled to be here.
Excellent.
But for this song specifically, I gotta say, yeah, it was... I kind of appreciate that it had some depth. I mean, it was twisted, right? But I have some appreciation for music that can be kind of dark and twisted. It had a good song in the background. Yeah. It was a classical piece in the background.
Yeah, there was.
See?
So there was a good song in it. Yeah. It really seemed to come from his soul. Like, just from what I've heard of the guy, it really did seem to come from his soul.
Caleb?
Let me pull up my notes. 1 second.
My guy, you knew.
Okay. So, I don't have much to say about it. I will say I used to really like this song until he told me what he thought it meant. And, I mean, I don't care. It's okay. The music in general is okay. I like how it mixes around with the violin and then the drums kick in and that. So that's all I really have to say about it.
Okay. So I don't really know a lot about any sort of mythology, but there's a person in mythology named Lilith that is theorized that this song is about. So I think that the default... I never really thought too much about it. I didn't like the song when it came out. But I think then when me and Steven talked about it, from the sounds of it, it's basically like God is bored. So he's summoning the angels and like, okay, what can we do? All right, let's torture the humans. And then how he says, like, you threw out your baby and expected we praise ye. Like, it sounds like he's talking about, like, sending Jesus to earth. And then, like, abandoning him, basically, to be crucified. That does seem like the more likely option, especially, too, since in the spreadsheets for all the seasons, he had specific, like, vibes or elements that he wanted to go for. And this one, he wanted to go for, like, Roman... early Christian like vibes, like Roman era.
That makes sense.
So, and which actually I'll get into more later as far as my opinions of how that affects the album. But he says she at the end multiple times. Like, after he says throughout your baby, he says, she did never hurt no one. And he says something about her holding back the tears. And, like, I don't know. It's just kind of confusing. I don't know. Do you know anything about, like, Lilith?
Yes, I'm familiar with the fable. But I thought that was an apt description. It's describing something that I've termed religious nihilism, where it's not a denial of God or the spiritual or anything like that. It's just puts a dark twist on it, where God is a cruel God, essentially. And if in life, people either struggle doubting in the existence of God at all, or they struggle with the goodness of God, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're a non-believer, then you go back and forth.
Fair enough.
And even if you're a believer, you'll struggle with either.
Well, one thing's for sure. I've got records in my head.
I was waiting so long for that segue.
Really? You just wanted to, did you want me talking to Ed? Is that what it was?
No. I was waiting for you to say it for 5
I could have done
seconds.
better. I don't know. Okay. Nathan, what did you think of records?
Okay, so records. Let me just look at the lyrics here quick. This one. Yeah, this one was repetitive. I mean, it was better than the last one, but the standard was what came before it, right? So to take that into account. Reflected his love of music. I could see, by song number 2, I could see how the songs really give you an analysis of this singer. I forget his name. This guy.
Rivers.
Yes, River. Even though this is my first time actually listening to him, I've only listened to one song before this, but I still consider myself an expert on Uyghur. I do. Yeah, that was basically it. I thought it was a decent song about his love of making music. This is it okay if I spoil my favorite song? Yeah, I can say this is my favorite song.
Yeah.
It was my favorite song, actually, because it was the only one that I actually felt like I had to move to.
Okay.
So, so that's my standard for, I thought it was a decent song.
Cool.
Yeah, I would agree. This is a decent song. I wrote groovy and sick beat. It does have a really good music backing. And the lyrics are just about him loving records and I guess music in general. So it's cool. But like a lot of songs on this album, very repetitive. He says round and round more than Wheels on the Bus does. So yeah.
Caleb.
Alright, so this is like they took Ratitude and White and tried to... Oh wait, hold on one second.
Ratitude and White.
Hold on, I gotta pull up what I was gonna say.
My guy, you should be ready
Okay,
for this.
so, I know, but okay, anyways. So this song is like if Weezer wanted to take Ratitude style and White style and put it together. So it feels kind of like a really heavy metal song, but it also feels a lot like pop. If that makes sense. That's, in my opinion, that's what it sounds like. If you listen to it, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I just did.
Okay, but like...
He's heard it.
Here's the thing. The way that they do it sounds too poppy.
It sounds too poppy.
Like, if you listen to Blue Like Jazz, you can tell a difference. Records sounds like really poppy and repetitive. And,
it is
and
probably
basically,
I thought it
it
sounded really metal.
it sounds like... Okay, it sounds metal because it has distortion, but it sounds really poppy. Okay, never mind.
Alright.
Yeah, never mind.
Alright, my notes for this. Instant banger. When this song came out, I love the way that they released it. I didn't finish listening to the song the way they released it because I was dizzy. I went and listened to it on YouTube, but they released a website called humanrecordplayer.com. It's still active, and you have your phone screen, and it shows, like, from the center of the record outward, and you actually stand in place and you spin around, and it uses the whatever it's called, the gyroscope, whatever, in your phone. So you actually spin the record, and if you spin faster, it plays the song faster. If you spin backwards, it plays the song backwards. So it's like an interactive website where
To
you
the
can listen
delight
to songs.
of Baptist pastors still looking for that backmasking.
They made it easy for them. So that was really cool. Like, so right when they released the song, I really, really enjoyed it. I will say Rivers is angry. Rivers is very angry. I'm not clear what he's angry about. He's just singing about how he loves this music, and he loves Rihanna, and he loves Nirvana, and he loves Lana Del Rey, I assume, even though she sucks. But anyway, he's saying, oh, I love this one, and then he says, you can F off, which is very odd because Weezer's music is usually pretty wholesome, or at very least not explicit. So I don't know what he's so mad about with it.
I have an idea. Well, I don't think he's mad necessarily, but he says in the song that he's pretty much ignoring everything in the world and just listening to music. Kind of like Grapes of Wrath. Same vibe. I don't remember what exactly he says in the song, but he talks about like just basically blocking out the world.
He doesn't want to deal with...
Yeah, so he's just saying like F off, like I'm just going to listen to my music.
Okay.
And he's totally in the zone.
Yeah. Not really in a super angry way, just in like a I don't give a crap way.
But I like some of the lyrics. I find that Weezer they did this in Spring as well with some of the songs, where it's like the lyrics start out really well written, and then verse 2 he's just like, he took a bathroom break and then he came back and he just had lost his inspiration, so he just wrote
wore off.
Like I sometimes I don't want to deal with what I think or feel, I think he says. I didn't write down the whole line, but actually musically and the way he sings that line, it reminds me a lot of the band No Doubt. Do you know them? It's the band Gwen Stefani was in. But anyway, it reminds me of that. It's very groovy. I like too, like how he starts in the first verse with, I keep on rocking past the coda. Like the song has ended, the coda's done, but he's still rocking anyway. It's in his head. But then like later, like the line how he says like, peel off the plastic, smell the vinyl. For me, it's like the Holy Bible, which I feel like it's like he's expressing the emphasis of that the records are so important to him that it's like, oh, it's like the Bible for him. But also I feel like that line's more so thrown out to kind of have something in the song that's like, oh, early Christianity or like kind of, you know what I mean?
Keeping with the theme,
Yeah, keeping with the theme, but it just kind of sounds stupid. So, like, I love the song.
Well, no, I think it's a good expression of his obsession with music. That's the crux of the song.
I guess. But I do really like the song, though. I think Records is a great song. I love it.
It does get stuck in my head.
Yeah. And
I got
it is a
Records
little
in my head.
repetitive, but that doesn't bother me at all.
Me either.
It doesn't make me blue.
Like jazz?
That's correct.
No.
Wow.
Before we continue, I feel bad about interrupting here.
Oh, no.
I actually didn't get any background on the album, so is this a compilation album? Is this a newer album? When was it released?
So,
what was
right, I forgot you're a little behind on the episodes.
Yeah.
So it's like I said at the beginning, it's part of the 4 seasons. So last year they released 4 albums. They did one at the first day of spring, first day of summer, first day of autumn, and first day of winter.
Like they wrote and did them all.
They released all 4 albums in 1 year.
Wow.
Which is...
And just last year, so 2022?
Yes. So we're almost caught up to the end of things.
Ah,
So they wanted to do the 4 seasons, and they wanted to kind of fit the vibe. So like spring had a spring vibe, but it also had like hippie vibes to it. Whereas this one,
You
so
said vibes a lot in that episode.
yeah, I'm saying the vibes
And last
a lot.
I heard, Rivers was married. Did he have kids?
Yeah, he has 2 kids.
He has 2 kids. Okay.
He
He's doing a little better for himself.
Yeah, so like a lot of in the earlier albums, there was more like
I remember the Japanese.
more of the struggle. But
You married one.
Really? Oh, that's funny.
so
No, not in a bad kind of way. Public audience.
it's okay. Nobody watches this.
If
Except
this
for
is
you.
ever released, it's just going to be, a censored blur and...
They're looking over our numbers.
It's funny because Rivers pretends that he doesn't see Asian women in any special way.
Yeah, he
obviously
actually. I was reading a thing that was quotes from Rivers Cuomo, where we might do an episode about that.
Yeah.
Not allowed to have preferences.
But
An episode on preferences?
Ethnic preferences are racist.
all right. Blue like jazz. Nathan, what do you think?
comparing the size and weight of various piles of crap is actually difficult. You don't have a standard. So you kind of have to eyeball it. But between number 1 and 2, I mean, they're all number 2. But
Wow.
I thought it was over between 1 and 2.
You're really dumping on this song.
No, I'm saying it's in between 1 and 2. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yes. But no, actually, I thought it was expressing, all I put was expressing something, just don't know what. And that's a common theme for Weezer.
Just for this album.
Yeah.
Don't judge
Don't
all
get
of
the
Weezer
wrong
off of this
impression.
album. Remember, this was written in a short
I've
time.
been judging it off of the podcast, is what I've been
If
doing.
you produce 4
With
albums
yours
in
too.
1 year, your quality might not be up to the standard
For
of when you release one every 2
Every
years.
album. Like, if
I
you-
mean, nothing exceeded Da Vinci today, from what I...
Really.
They put
That's
all their effort
blasphemy.
last year into spring and autumn, and then just
No,
all their
winter's the
leftovers
best
went
one.
to summer
Winter's the
and winter.
best
Alright, this one is spring?
No, this one's summer.
Summer.
All right, Steven.
Oh, Blue Like Jazz is, I think, the best song on this album. So it's okay. It's very groovy, but like the words don't really make sense, at least not to me, which is another common theme on this album. I love the guitar in the background that's playing the classical piece throughout the chorus, and then the solo, it's just the electric guitar doing that, and it's like really good. So yeah, I would listen to this song. This is the only song in the album that I would actually like listen to regularly. I was gonna listen to any of them.
I thought you liked records. No?
Yeah, but I wouldn't listen to that one regularly because it's too repetitive. I could listen to it once in a while.
You said once a year.
Yeah,
Well,
change. You must like it more now.
Once a year is once in a while.
Well, Caleb, what do you think of Blue Like Jazz?
I love the riff in the verses, like in the beginning, like the way how it
So
starts
like palm
out.
muted.
Yeah,
like intricate.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Hats off to you. You solved the Rubik's Cube. It's always so fun to sing along with, especially since like if I have a bunch of friends with me, including you, and we all know it, and it always reminds me of Ethan,
Yeah.
because that's
Because
his
Ethan
thing.
does Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Ethan and Noah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's such a fun thing to sing along to. Also, Blue Like Jazz is too. Yeah, and also, I find the bridge likes to put in a little hidden references over the years, like red, black, and the title blue. I don't know if you noticed that.
I don't know if that's intentional or if
I
you're
don't
just
know if it
mentioning
is.
colors.
But I don't know.
It's possible.
I like that idea.
I don't know if he thought too hard about most of the lyrics on this album, though. But I think the song is absolutely rad, but it doesn't make any sense. Kind of the popular consensus, I fear. Sorry, not fear. I feel. The only thing I really get from it is a lack of confidence. Because he's saying like, oh, the person can solve the Rubik's Cube. Hats off to you. You can do that. Whatever. I can't. He says he can't play 16th notes. He's a little slow. And like he seems to be like dissing himself a little bit of self-loathing, which brings us back to like early Weezer kind of vibes. But the song's great. It's like Caleb said, it's really fun to sing along with. It's got some good scratching in there on the guitar too. A lot of good palm muting. Like Steven said, the classical piece on the electric guitar, it's just like it's so well pieced together. All the different tracks in it, like all the instruments. It's good. But what's not good is the opposite of me.
Like the song or like
Both.
Trying to make the pun there. Almost made it. No.
Yeah, the opposite of me. Sloppy start, and then sloppy rest of it as well. Actually, it's a little bit groovy. I mean, really, the song's kind of just about how he's sick of being a doormat, sick of being a loser, and he's like, "No, I'm not gonna be a loser anymore. I'm gonna be somebody else, anybody else. It is not me." Except for the outro. The outro where it goes to the acoustic guitar and has the doot doot doo doo doos and the little bit of electric lead. Like, it sounds really, really nice. It's a good way to end the song. And like, I used to like the song quite a lot, but I feel like
Wow.
I feel like I don't like it as much anymore.
That's a surprise.
Now, Nathan, you don't have a reference. You don't have a reference of before and after. You just have now. What do you think?
Now? Well, I would have aged several more years listening to that song if I had several more years to live, which doesn't seem likely now. But no, actually, I this one was okay. It reminded me, it had a little bit of a Beatles vibe. I felt like, if it was like that episode of Mickey Mouse where the orchestra instruments all get crushed. Sorry, feel the joke delivery where the orchestra instruments get crushed before the performance.
Wow.
Have you seen that episode?
No, I don't think so.
Go and watch that Mickey Mouse episode. What is it called again?
Just a symphony of something.
It's called Symphony of Something.
Sound?
It's a Mickey Mouse episode where all the instruments get crushed in the elevator. And then they have to perform it. It's hilarious.
Yes.
I'll just put a little clip.
Sorry, but I realized in this song that I realized why you talk about bridges all the time, because the bridges, there's like an abrupt change in the music, I'd say, compared to bridges you typically hear. What else did I say? Yeah, I thought it was a nice bridge change. Yeah. And obviously the lyrics with all the relationship turmoil seems very in tune with lyrics he had 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That you said he is married now.
No, so like that's the thing with his earlier music seemed a lot more sincere and directly related to him, but now it's like a lot of Weezer's music, it's not really written true to him. It's almost like he's trying to write songs similar to what he used to write and stuff. So it's not like really deep and meaningful most of the time, but when it is, it is.
I see, yeah, because that's the thing is throughout this album I'm thinking like, is this genuine garage band guy or is he trying to imitate garage band guy?
He's trying to imitate himself.
To some degree, yeah. I think that could be a
It's like when you trace your own signature and it's like fake, but it's like, it's still you, but it's not real.
For the song, he was trying to be the opposite of him. I don't know.
But it was one of the better ones, I'd say.
I don't know.
Which isn't saying much, but
all right. Yikes, Steven.
So I have a theory about the song, just based on the theme of the album and so far his comments on God, that this song is from the perspective of Jesus, saying, what if I was to say, hell no, I'm not your soldier boy. You left me on a mountainside. You have no right to be surprised. Basically, do you know about the last temptation of Christ, that story? It's basically about what if Jesus did not go through with the crucifixion.
No, that's heresy.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I know the story. So that's kind of what it reminded me of, the lyrics, where he's like, I've always been the welcome mat on which you wiped your feet. You never saw how torn I was. Well, now you got to see. And like just saying like, it's not necessarily about Jesus, but just based on the album so far, that was how like I felt about it.
He took
it's
like that to kind of pull the lyrics in to have a relation to it.
Yeah,
maybe.
Because like it kind of makes sense if you see it that way. It's kind of the way that I made sense of the song. You're saying I want to be somebody else, the opposite of me, which makes sense if he's Jesus deciding to rebel against God. That would be the opposite of Jesus. And if you're just a regular person, like how are you the opposite of yourself? That doesn't make sense. So yeah, because of that, like I really don't like the song, but musically it's okay. I honestly liked it better this time than I did the first time I listened to it. But again, very repetitive and feels like they really weren't putting any effort into making this album good.
Fun drums.
Fun drums.
Fun drums.
Yeah.
Conundrums.
Fun drum conundrum.
Yeah, I've never cared for this song.
Is that all you have to say?
Pretty much.
Yikes.
Throwaway song.
Did you already go yet?
Yeah. Yeah, I started it. Were you going to say what's the good of being good?
Yeah.
Well, the good of being good. This song I used to like. It's another one that I don't really like that much anymore because it's kind of like the entitled nice guy vibe where it's like, I've been really good. I'm a good guy. Why don't girls want to date me? This is bullcrap. Like, I'm not going to be good anymore. Like, temper tantrum. I will say the intro, so freaking weird. Like, the tuba and the marching sounds and stuff. It's, like, kind of weird. But then it shifts. And he says, walking down the hallowed hallway. and the bass and the drums are going together real steady. It's so... And he says something about bearded masters on the wall. I don't know. The first verse has a really good, like, imagery to it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Musically, it's really good. So what's the good of being good? Well, we shouldn't just stop being good because we're not getting our way. Because as Christians, we know that we should be good because it's the right thing to do. Sorry, Rivers. You'll learn one day. Hashtag pray for Rivers. Hashtag Weezer worship album. One day. That's all I have to say.
He probably got all
I feel
this.
like we'll keep on kind of going this. Nathan?
Me next. Okay. Yeah. The intro there, it sounded like a beginning of a horror, film or
I've got input to
soundtrack
say on
or
that.
something. I just realized it was just me in this dark basement listening to Weezer. But
With the red light.
no, but I understand what you mean about the imagery because I feel like it almost does depict like a haunted mansion or something. And obviously, it's like a dark moral searching, which also sounds a little bit like he's imitating older, very morally questionable ideas. I mean, this song really reminded me of the fall of man and the age of decay in which we now live. Not because of the lyrics, but because of the actual music. I kid, but yeah. It was,
So you did like the music, or you kind of liked it?
I
or-
mean, it was what I expected.
All right.
Not good.
Interesting.
I actually liked the music for the intro and the verse. I felt like this is better than I remember, and it was like good. And then it got to the chorus, and I was like, I remember why I hate this. Like, it just musically, it just starts to suck as soon as he starts singing the chorus.
It drags
What's
on
the
too long.
good of being?
It drags on. It drags. The lyrics drag along a little bit too much.
It's like they were, like you said, he took a bathroom break after he wrote the verses and came back for the chorus and was like, let's just throw in something, and it sucks. It's like, are you trying to
I mean,
make...
adding in the context that they made 4 albums in the span of a year just it makes it sound like they had a production line going.
They really spent all their effort on spring and autumn.
With that in mind, though, you got to give them some grace, I suppose.
No,
Wow.
just don't produce 4 albums in a year.
No, I don't know. I have
Well, then we wouldn't
Scrutinize
have
these
autumn.
songs
We
today.
wouldn't have autumn.
I have no regrets about the seasons. Other than okay, I mean summer could have been never mind.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
you're obviously in too deep.
It could have been better. It should have been better.
I don't have any regrets either because I didn't do anything.
I'm just happy to get 4 Weezer albums in a year, and this year we haven't gotten one, so I'm pissed.
See, they should have just not made summer. I actually worked on making a good album for this year.
Autumn.
instead.
Add it on to autumn.
Autumn's already great. No changes
Well,
needed there.
A few more songs.
Continuing
A few
on,
more songs.
Caleb, what do you think?
Whoa, I wasn't finished.
Sorry.
No, lyric, because that was just the music, musically how I felt, but lyrically, it's stupid. Seriously, like, if you really don't know what the good is of being good, like, you don't know anything.
Then stop.
You don't know the meaning of life. Like, as Christians, like Aiden said, we know what the good of being good is, and for Rivers, he seems to hate God on this album, so I guess it makes sense he wouldn't know. But
He's just asking a question. Philosopher pondering.
he's asking a rhetorical question. But yeah, that's all.
All right. So what you were saying about you feel like you're in a horror movie at the beginning, it feels like they're taking autumn and teasing you with it. Because how autumn is like the best season album.
Wrong.
It's the best season.
The third best season album.
Whoa.
He thinks winter's
No.
better.
There is no third best. There's 2 good ones and 2 bad ones.
Winter's okay.
Okay, continue,
But
Caleb.
anyways, so it feels like they're like
Glasses are off.
they're like
I'm triggered.
it feels like that they're like teasing you, like telling you like you want autumn. Nope, you have to listen to this first.
You
And
gotta
wait.
earn it.
You
If you
gotta.
want dessert, you gotta eat your disgusting vegetables.
That's what it. Yeah. Anyways, I mean, the fact that Rivers is calling himself dumb is very surprising, especially the fact that he is on this album in every way possible.
When did he call himself dumb?
In one of the lines,
I don't remember.
and the solo's okay.
Fair enough.
It's an okay song. It's tolerable.
It's tolerable.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like after that two song drop where the album's kind of plummeting, it gets to go a little bit back up for Cuomoville. Not because Cuomoville is an amazing song. It's not like by any means great, but it is. It's really vibey. It does have a good sound to it. It's like a nice listen. The chords, I have no idea what they're called, and since I'm a guitar player, I should know. But all of the chords are these weird variation chords where instead of playing like this, you play it like this, and then it's got like 3 notes higher. There's definitely some sort of a term for it, but they're using these weird variation chords, and just the guitar sounds really crisp and nice, and the way that he's singing along with it sounds really nice too. And like honestly, the vibe of the song makes me want to visit Cuomoville sometime until the bridge, because the bridge does, like Nathan was saying, where sometimes the bridges it's such a change in music. Sometimes that's a great thing. Sometimes that's a freaking awful thing, like in Cuomoville, because the bridge took the good vibes of the song, and then the music, it's kind of cool. It's kind of got a neat shift to it, but the way that he sings, feed 'em to the lions,
With that weird, like,
over
effect
the riff,
on.
it does not sound good. It sounds freaking horrible. The bridge of this song is one of the most dog crap things my ears have ever heard from Weezer.
Especially when he
Like
puts it through the
it's so bad.
filter.
And then after that horrible, heinous crime, that sin of the bridge of this song, here in Cuomoville, he saves it, he picks it back up, and it's great again. But the bridge is just not good. It's not good. All right, Nathan, what did you think?
Well,
Actually, each person has to answer this question. First off, would you go to Cuomoville?
absolutely not. No.
All right, let's hear about it.
Would you rather go to Homoville?
I
Same place.
try to
Different pronunciation.
All right. Let him speak.
Sorry.
but I listened closely to this song, and I think the one thing I can say for sure is that it cannot be said that no animals were harmed in the making of this song. Clearly, just listening to it. But if we can keep this song away from the animals, then the animals will be safe. I thought the lyrics were creative. That's it.
As I was listening to the song, I wrote my thoughts. At this point, I'm wondering if they put any effort into this album at all. The sound is as unpleasant as Pinkerton, at least, except with trash lyrics that make no sense. That are just that are just dry and dumb, and it's all just basically hot garbage. However, the bridge is actually the best part of the song because it actually sounds good.
Hold up the Uno card. Reverse.
No reverse card. It's invisible.
My guy, the entire Green album is better than that bridge.
Yeah, it is.
But faithful listener,
Why would
there's
you
also
even-
diverse opinions
Yeah.
on the Green album?
And the
whatever.
bridge is the best part of
Whatever.
that song. It actually, like, the whole song, I'm, like, waiting for it to end. And then the bridge starts, and it's like, dun, dun. I'm like, oh, it sounds kind of cool, actually. And then his singing, feed 'em to the line. It's like, it's not the best, but it's also, like, the best part of that song.
It's unique.
It's kind of cool. It's like, oh, now it's getting interesting. Feed 'em to the lions. Wow, that's dark. And then he goes, here in Comoville. Where did that come from? I thought you were getting fed to the lions, dude. Like,
Obviously, he wants the song to go a different direction.
it's like I said, they put no effort into this album. They're just writing whatever pops into their head.
It's all Rivers. All Rivers.
We need the music to change for the bridge. Okay, let's come up with something else.
Can't deny it's creative. That's one thing I can say for sure. For this
Creative
music.
in the worst way.
Creative in a unique way.
Sorry.
I definitely don't like the weird effect at the bridge when he's singing. It's a weird effect. I don't like it.
That sounds warbled. almost.
Yeah, it's kind of
Like,
gross.
effect on the instruments or his
No,
voice?
his voice.
Oh yeah, there's a weird effect on his voice.
I didn't like that.
I don't know how
mean,
I feel about that.
It's unique about, like, I like how it transitions, which Weezer likes to, like, take one thing and then switch it up entirely and then go back to it and then maybe do it one more time. So that's a nice thing about this song, is that it kind of switched it up a little bit. The chorus is probably the best part. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. The bridge is definitely not. It's the worst part of the entire album, probably, actually.
I didn't say anything about that. So.
Next is the vinyl exclusive track. This track is not on Spotify. It is only on the record. I would like actually to go Caleb, Steven, Nathan maybe for this one. Had you heard the song before?
Yes, I have.
Had you heard the song before?
I don't know. I feel like I thought I did, but maybe not.
Okay.
Alright, so this one sounds like a mashup of, like, all the seasons. So it feels like he had, like, all the seasons planned out for each song, and he took one song from each one and took, like, a few lines from it and mashed it up all together. Because, like, the verses sound like, I think sounded like winter, and then I think the chorus sounded like summer, and the bridge sounded like, I think it was autumn. And it just sounds like a mix of, like, different vibes.
Kind of, actually. I could see that.
But when he says a single spread of clothesline, and when it, like, pumps back in, it's really awesome. Not bad for an extra.
Yeah, I think it was actually pretty good for compared to the rest of the album.
I agree.
The lyrics, I feel like made more sense in this one than normally, but I don't remember what they were.
They were...
It was like really Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
and Fairy
Wizard
Tale
of
related.
Oz.
Yeah,
Stuff.
yeah. So it, like, kind of had that sense to it. He's, like, saying down with the wizard. I liked the music mostly, except at the end of the chorus where he slows down. It's like, ugh, I don't like that. And the bridge I didn't like either. But other than that, I liked it. So it was, not terrible.
When I got COVID, I got it in my gut. I spent most of the night wrenched over the toilet, just puking my guts out. So I found the song relatable, actually. I knew I had experienced it before. But you know what? No, I thought, it was actually kind of sweet. The lyrics, it seems like he has love in his heart somewhere. No, but it's almost like a love song, a Wizard of Oz love song, but he changes the name Dorothy to Portia for some reason.
Porsche,
Yeah.
not the car.
Oh, yeah. I like how the chorus started, actually. But then that high note, that ooh, whatever he does, it's just like, oh. That's all.
My notes for this one, not bad at all. Fairy Tale vibes. Good music with the glockenspiel and the guitar together at the beginning. I thought that sounded really nice. I feel like that's probably what you're talking about with the winter vibe for it, like how the glockenspiel sounds. And it's one of the better tracks definitely on this album. The chorus slaps. Like, the chorus hits pretty hard. And the verses are nice. I think I didn't really like the bridge that much either, to be honest. I think it could have been better, but yeah, like it was better than most of the album. But I think that one of the tracks that is just indisputably, I assume, but we're probably going to find out differently in a moment, indisputably very good, which is Thank You and Good Night. Nathan, would you like to start us off with that one?
Thank you and good night. Well, I gotta say, this actually may have been my favorite song, simply because I felt such a surge of joy when I realized that this was the last track. So I may have overrated it a little bit, but no, I actually thought it wasn't that bad. Yep. It was
It's the opposite of what you just said.
a fitting ending, feeling good about himself. Like, I mean, I'm trying to make jokes here, man. Giving you good content. Relative to the rest of the songs in the world of Weezer, we have this track, which is, not bad.
Steven?
I'm next. Oh yeah. this song is not pleasant at all.
What the frick?
It's just not. His singing does not match the music. Sometimes he does this. I don't know what it is, like how it ends up this way, but the music that's playing and the tune that he's singing are not clicking together. And I think if they were clicking together, then I would really enjoy the song, but I don't. Because they don't. And of course the lyrics, once again, are like, what is he talking about? Something about flying away in a hot air balloon, I think. And not having crutches. And again, it's repetitive. It's like, are you trying to just make a terrible album? It's like, let's do Pinkerton again, but, you know,
Pinkerton's
even
actually
worse.
It reminded me a little bit more of Green, actually, but
It sounds nothing like Green.
It's like
it's like they recognize that Pinkerton like had a really like not pleasant sound to it, but it was still good. So they're like, let's do that again. Let's make it really not pleasant, but like not have any meaningful lyrics.
it's like
it's garbage.
It's like if you take Pinkerton and how it sounds to the ears and took Green and mashed up with that.
Yeah, it's like the lyrics of Green to the music
and the
of Pinkerton.
repetitiveness
Yeah.
of Green.
Take the worst part of Green and the worst part of Pinkerton, put them together. That's the summer album. Although on their own, Pinkerton and Green are both phenomenal albums. Yeah, but the ending, the instrumental outro, I thought was really good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and I was excited for the end.
Caleb.
I love the melody to this song and how it transitions to the bridge, and then it picks up, and then transitions again to like a second bridge. I don't really know what to call it, but it like goes really fast with the lines, and then it goes back into the chorus, and then it stops, and then to our surprise, there's a little extra thank you and good night thing in there.
It's like a roller
So
coaster.
it's kind of like, it's like they try to do. It's
Wow.
kind of like they try to do a ton of things at once.
Screaming the whole time.
Sorry.
It's like they try to take a lot of demo samples and try to make them sound good, and mix them together, try to see what works.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Musically, this song from start to finish is phenomenal. The music is very, very well pieced together. The structure of the song, how it speeds up and slows down, and like it reminds me of like how, I don't want to compare it to Bohemian Rhapsody, since Bohemian Rhapsody's flaming hot garbage compared to this song.
What?
But it's kind of like that, how it has a lot of variancy to it.
Oh.
And you don't know whether to call it a second bridge or a third verse, or you really don't know what it is. But it is amazing. Lyrically, like Steven said, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It just seems like he's kind of, in a vague way, singing about being unhindered, and he's flying off. Like he's not a kid in crutches anymore. He's flying high.
Unhinged.
Unhindered.
Saying
unhinged.
good night and goodbye.
And the bridge into the solo, into the outro, it's just like it keeps on getting better and better. The last like minute and a half of the song, it just keeps climbing, and it gets higher and higher, and it's and faster, and it's just, I love it. And then especially too, whenever he says thank you and good night, and then he goes really high with the good night, and then it does that sick riff and the drums and the guitar just going off, and it has that rad scratching. It's just amazing. And they ended the indie rock road trip tour before it wasn't part of the encore, was it? It was the last song.
I think it was before the encore. Yeah.
So it was the song they ended with before the encore, and hearing that song live, I loved it, and I love the song.
It was better live, for sure.
Is so
That's because it was retried.
so in a wrapped up, we're gonna move on to our our overall thoughts and album ratings from 1 to 5. So Nathan, to summarize, what is your overall thoughts as the album as a whole, and what do you rate it?
You know, history is filled with the stories of courageous men and women who made great sacrifices. The early Christian martyrs being thrown to the lions. The
Like
pilgrims crossing the sea, losing everything, loved ones, to build a new world in the wilderness. And now, me, listening to this music. And I believe when people look back on my life one day, which if I have to listen to any more of this won't be much longer, but I believe people will remember the sacrifice I made to listen to these songs and warn everyone of the glories of Geezer.
Rating?
2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
Close to mine.
That's higher than I expected.
Yeah. Steven?
This album's mostly awful. With a couple exceptions. Blue Like Jazz and Records, they're worth listening to. But even they are not worth listening through the whole album in order to listen to. So I give this album a 1 out of 5.
Wow.
Alright, so definitely not the best season. I mean, the more you listen to it, obviously, the more you like it, usually. And for me, I've listened to a decent amount to be okay with it. I mean, a few songs are really weak, but it's okay. Like, the album's okay. I'd give it a 2.7.
Oh, wow. Alright, this album has a few amazing songs, but mostly subpar ones. A lot of random like terms and references thrown into weird places to try to fit the vibe that they were going for lyrically, which was mostly sloppily done and didn't really work too well. I give this album 2.6 out of 5 stars, which is the second lowest rating. Actually, what helped me rate this one was I looked back at my rating for Green. And then I thought really hard, and I was kind of thinking for a bit, I think Green might be better than Summer. And then I remembered that I can't remember how most of Green goes because the songs are so forgettable. So some of the songs on Summer are not that good.
I'd say Green is still better.
I don't know. Honestly, it's really tough because I think I might up my rating for Green now would probably be higher than it was, but I gave Green a 2.5 when we did that episode, but it's grown on me a bit, so tough to say. But thank you everyone for being here watching this episode of WEEZCAST.
Thank you and
good night. Good night. Wow. And thank you, Nathan, for being here.
Absolutely. I'm so
Bye.
glad I made it.
Fun fact, this album cover is flames
Just keep the
because this album should be burned.